Call meeting to order at 7:06. We all stand and Nicole wants to do the invocation.
Dear Lord, we thank you for allowing us to have one time a month to all get together as a community and discuss the ongoing things in the town. We ask you to bless us this week and throughout this month to allow us to get through our daily tasks and our work and our children and everything else we have to do. We thank you for all the opportunities you give us on our daily lives, and we thank you very much. Amen.
Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Nicole. Okay. Sandy, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Goldie?
Here.
Councilmember Schaefer? Here. Councilmember Gray?
Yeah.
Councilmember Jacaruso?
He's absent. He's at a seminar at school, I guess.
Supervisor Esposito?
Here. Also present is our attorney, Gerard Clarisi. Privilege of the floor. At every scheduled town board meeting, the public shall have the right to address the town board during the portion of the meeting referred to as privilege of the floor. Members of the public should restrict their comments to items of town business. Although there is no official time constraint, speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There shall be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privileges of the floor near the beginning of each meeting. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter into a discussion with a person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during a portion of the meeting referred to as council members' comments. Privileges of the floor are open now at 7:10.
Hi, I'm Sandra Geisinger from Ennis Road, and our road was paved last week, and I just want to thank whoever had anything to do with that, because it is a beautiful job, and we appreciate very much having the new surface, so thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike Harness. I'm a lawyer from Albany, New York. And my colleague here, Dave Engels, I think many of you know, professional engineer from Schenectady. We represent Schenectady Solar LLC and RAR Energy Group, one of those development groups that was talked about at last month's meeting, which we unfortunately missed, but we did watch on online. We wanted to take a few moments of your time at the beginning of this meeting to talk about a few of the issues that were raised last month and leave you with a thought. One of the things that I heard about was the approach that developers made to people here in the town. Now, there are many developers out there. We're certainly not the only ones who approach people in the town. I don't know of any other developers that have active plans in the town at this stage. But we are a little bit different from some of those developers in one respect. We didn't ask anybody for a lease, 20 years longer or shorter. We actually bought the property that we intend to develop here in Princetown. And we also bought another plot in an adjacent town in a related project. So we made a commitment to the project and to the town. We're landowners here, and we're proud of that. That means, among other things, that if there's I think someone described it as a monstrosity 20 years from now, unused, we're there. It's ours. It's our land. You have us. Not a distant developer who had a lease that's expired. So. We'd like to tell you a little bit about the project, because I think there was some misunderstanding on the floor last month. For that, I'd like to ask Dave to describe the project a little bit.
Thank you. We're referring to the project, I brought the board here, we're referring to the project as a Moyer project. Is the land was purchased from Dave Moyer. Originally, we started this project back in May of 2015 with land acquisitions. At that point, there was actually two of the Moyer parcels. Not only the 130-acre parcel, there was an adjacent parcel that was also in play for a second solar farm. They're actually going to do two farms on those two properties, totaling 256 acres. Since then, It was brought through just a single property, the 132 acres, which is the property has a driveway that comes in. I think most people are familiar with the property as you're going up the hill. It's on the left-hand side, just as you're going up the crest of the hill, just past Kelly Station Road. And this would be the driveway entrance here. They had a pond in the back, and there's about a 10-acre, the product is down to only about a 10-acre solar array at this point. So there was also some discussion in the meeting about 80 acres, and it's a very modest project, 10 acres, as shown on the plan, tucked into the area with trees and forest around it so that it would be screened. And again, we started the project just to give the board a little bit of understanding. We started back in 2015. We met with Carol McLean from the planning board. We met with Vic Benson from the zoning board. No one really knew how solar fit into the zoning code. You know, what type of use exactly was it? How would it fit into this residential forest zone? Then we went to the planning board in May, and the planning board was very supportive of the solar use. However, they said we really don't have a provision to review the site plan, so we don't know how to review it. We like it, but we don't know how to review it. Then they sent us on to the town board, which they were also in discussion with the town board in the month of July. We went to see the town board in August of 2016. The town board, we gave the presentation. The town board was receptive to the solar, and then they presented us to go on to one more board, which was the zoning review committee, which Jack White was chairing that. We spent, I think probably since last September, October, working with that zoning review committee in anticipation of a new solar zoning ordinance. And then once that was adopted, the project would come in and be reviewed under the new ordinance. So I guess I'm here to answer any questions. It's a 2.6 megawatt facility. Again, it's about 8,300 modules, or about 800 panels that would be proposed in an area about 10 acres. There's a 25-year warranty on these panels. I think there was some questions about what the life was of the project and the life of the solar panels. They're warranted for 25 years. So minimally, those will be there for 25 years, I would think. Also, any concerns if something would become dilapidated or obsolete, there would be typically a decommissioning plan associated with how would you get rid of this and dismantle it. And then there would typically be a financial surety to the town, i.e. a bond, that could be cashed in if necessary to facilitate the removal of the facility. So that's just a brief history. I don't want to get too far into that.
As you can see, we've chosen to engage with the town in the past year for a number of reasons. One is we wanted to get to know the town a little bit better than what people expected. We also wanted to make sure that we were heading in a direction that was acceptable to the people in authority. And this plan has been devised to be well within the boundaries in the draft resolution that Jack and the ZRC put together. So it would be compliant. But the reason we went down this route is mostly because we thought that zoning was the most transparent way to go. Zoning is a way of telling anybody who might be interested in building here, investing here, what the rules are, and giving them a chance to come in, understanding what the risks are and what the rules are, and decide whether they want to play here. And it's also a way to give the people of Princetown an opportunity to discuss what they want their land in their town to be used for. So we assumed that we would be heading down a process that would eventually lead to a public hearing in which everyone in the town would have a chance to vent their views, on the proposed ordinance. Now, as we were engaging with all these people, we met people with a lot of different views. Sure, there are some people who are strongly opposed to solar, we know that. We also met a lot of people who are strongly in favor of solar. We met people who think that solar is a way of preserving the agricultural character of Princetown by letting farmers who have land that's agriculturally unproductive harvest a new kind of crop. And that is power from the sun. Is this commercial development? I believe you talked about that last month. It's commercial in the sense that something is being sold, sure. And so are the farms in the residential and agricultural district. They're producing crops that are sold in commerce just as this power would be. The difference between this and a commercial development is that it's not going to generate noise, it's not going to generate traffic, it's not going to generate a need for parking. It's going to sit there for 25 years and produce a crop, essentially. Now, what we'd like to leave you with is a thought. There are some people in Princetown that would like to see this, would like to have an opportunity to do this themselves on their own land and perhaps save their own farms from, from economic problems. We'd like you to give them a chance to do that and follow through this process, consider a resolution, hold a public hearing, and give everybody a chance to talk, including us, a landowner in Princetown, who are now committed to Princetown, and want to see the best result for it. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. In fact, if you'd like us to come back for a special session of any kind of informational meeting to talk about solar in general or our project in particular, I'm sure Dave and I would both be glad to come. Absolutely.
I do have one quick question. How do they calculate the ad valorem value of that? Is there a schedule that, so in other words, like a house, we can calculate it, but how do we calculate
You mean for
that?
taxing purposes?
Exactly.
That's a good question. The assessor, I don't see Mr. Tolner here today, so we couldn't ask him that, but I'm not really sure what that process would be. I know there are methods, I couldn't explain it to you.
I would think there would be a benefit to the property, so there would be a tax benefit in terms of increasing the value of the land. So there should be some type of, at least a marginal
And
benefit to
we
the
understand,
school district, right?
Yeah, the school district would receive that benefit. We understand you don't have a town tax. Let me only say that solar developers are not unaccustomed to paying towns, usually through land taxation, for the privilege of working there and the difficulties that it causes. So if there were a tax, that would not be a deterrent to us. A moderate one, of course.
So where you're putting that thing, where you want to put it, you're cutting all them trees down. In other words, them 3 areas right there.
Yeah, right here, there's about a 10-acre total area that's,
So
this
you're
would be a
going to cut all
6-foot high
those
fence.
trees down.
Yes, yes.
And you're not going to see it from Ryville Road?
You would
There are
not.
properties next to it?
No, it would be surrounded to, north is up, this is Marivale Road here. So we would actually try to even maintain some of the trees here. And then there's a large tree area that would be around it on all sides. So it would be tucked in. Actually, the land drops down quite a bit off from Marivale there too. Yeah, you actually fall off pretty good from
What's the height of the array?
the height of the array, maximum height, I believe, is only 12 feet at full tilt. So it's not a very tall structure.
I think that's actually smaller than the one outside. Shorter.
Yeah, 12 feet, about the height of this room, yeah. And again, we would anticipate if the law went forward, that there would be site plan review, we'd look at, glare analysis, noise. There is no noise, but we'd look at all those factors. And as Mike said, there's really no demand on services, water, sewer, traffic. There's just a simple maintenance road. I mean, maybe someone will come out to maintain this facility a couple times a year. That's really it, and we would design that also for fire safety services, in terms of having a fire truck suitable access drive and turn.
Where are you going to get rid of, where's the line going to go from them to where you're going to hook into?
We would be working with the procurement contractor at this point, the engineering procurement contractor. I'm not sure if they'd go out to this point at Marivale and then go down to, they need a 3-phase connection. So that's something that we would, going forward, we would finalize and detail that.
And the developer's responsible for getting as far as the 3-phase, right?
You're going to hook it into the big lines?
I don't think it would hook into the big lines, no. I don't think there's any, we would hook into a 3-phase, you get hook into a 3-phase system, which I believe we have right at Marivale.
I don't think Mariah's got 3
It does. From Rotterdam all the way to Route 30. 159 has 3-phase all the way to Route 30. It's got a 3-phase line.
Didn't know
Are there any health issues regarding the solar panels, like the power lines and stuff? They say you shouldn't be building, within a certain distance from them. Is there anything with the solars, or have tests been done?
Well, there's been a lot of studies on electromagnetic radiation, and I'm not aware that have had any positive responses for, positive associations between human health and solar installations. So the short answer is no, they're pretty safe.
What was the reason you picked that particular spot?
That's a good question. We did not choose the site. Our client, Schenectady Solar, they chose the site.
Yeah, that was early in the process before either Dave or I were
So there was
involved.
land negotiations before we got involved. I think they were looking for a three-phase connection, so that's one of the criteria. I think they were looking for something, relatively remote and probably reasonably priced.
I'm not too familiar with the whole situation, but what about the homes that are around there? Have they been notified that this is going to go on? And this is an issue?
We have not. We're very early in the process, and we're trying to, as we're here tonight, trying to sort out the actual zoning process and what the review process would be, but I'm assuming that would be part of the review process if we do make it back to the planning board, who did receive it favorably.
Okay.
Then we would formally go through that process, notify the neighbors, and, but really, our project is its own individual project, but we're also here tonight is looking at the big context of getting a new solar zoning ordinance townwide. It'd be a new law, similar to what you guys did, I think, a few years back with wind.
Right.
You adopted a new zoning code for the wind.
Right, and I can assure you that question, the idea of establishing a set of rules for everybody to see and everybody to understand is very much on the mind of the CRC.
We'll have to be notified on what's going on. Other people don't know what you're going to do,
Right?
Absolutely.
How does it deal with, on the Dwaynesburg side of that? People that own a property next to it that's in Dwaynesburg,
Where's that?
on this property that you own.
Yeah, that's right on the town line, isn't it?
Oh, we would notify them. But I don't think there would be any, again, this is pretty remote. We're about 2,000 feet off the roadway there, so we're half a mile.
Well, remember, developers are like any other business people. We don't like surprises any more than your neighbors like surprises. It's in our interest to flesh out any issues that might be out there and deal with them in advance, rather than wait for them to crop up at the end. The last thing you want is a demonstration as you're bringing in the equipment. See, the best thing to do is to get those problems surfaced and solve them ahead. So that's what we would want to do. But again, we haven't even got a structure to work with yet because we don't have the zoning system in place to tell us what the rules are.
Well, this is going to take a little more time yet. For a decision to be made after everybody's notified and the board decides on it.
But as Dave points out, there are really two questions. There's one is, creating the set of rules for zoning, not just for us, but for future developers who might find a spot in the town that they want to use. Second is to apply those rules to this project. So, and, you're right, that takes some time. We'll be here with you if you let us go forward.
Right, that's a good point. I think the first step would be the crafting up a new solar zoning ordinance, which is what the ZRC worked on for the last 8 months. And then the anticipation would be that this board would take that and then probably ask their legal counsel to review it, I would assume, and then comment on it and hopefully craft something that could make it to, a public meeting, see what the residents say, and then based on those comments, maybe redraft it or revise it somewhat, massage it, and hopefully arrive at a final code that everyone is satisfied with, or
You
majority
understand that this is
satisfied.
very early in the process, and, we're probably going to get some opposition to this. Quite a few
Sure.
people have already indicated that they're not interested in having solar farms next to their property. So this may be a problem. Like I said, we're very early into this, and our attorney hasn't really reviewed the law yet that the ZRC came up with. So that would have to be done, and we would have to discuss that, correct?
Understood?
Yeah, we would be surprised if there was uniform opinion on something like this. But I think at the end
The
of the
concern is with most of the property owners is it diminishes the value of their property. That's what their concern is.
I've definitely heard that argument made in many places. There's a counter argument that for those people who invest or find an investor to work with them to install solar arrays on their sites, it's an investment that pays off and increases the value of the property. The trick, of course, is finding a balance between both those points of view to accommodate everybody in the town. And that's why I recommend the public hearing to get everybody's views. At the end of that process is probably the best way to gauge that opinion.
Right. There have been studies performed which have proven out that there really is no impact on land values. I think a lot of people, it's a kind of a knee-jerk reaction, oh, it's going to affect the value of my land. But the studies have bared out that that's not true.
Is there also a difference between, you compared farmers or, homeowners having a solar farm on their property versus a company coming in and just buying land just for that purpose? That to me seems different than, say, a farmer or somebody who owns it and lives on their property trying to make money as a farmer who is selling their hay or something else. It seems like it would be different zoning for property reasons if you're not living on it. You're just using that as a commercial type property to sell a product versus a farmer trying to make money selling, fruits, vegetables, animals, hay or whatever. I think there's a huge difference between the two.
These draft statute that the ZRC came up with does make a distinction between what I think we call major and minor solar. Minor solar being accessories on a house for the use of that house or barn. Basically, I think the definition, if I recall correctly, was generated power for use on the site. There was a different set of rules, much more stringent, for equipment that was designed to generate power for sale off the site. So you could kind of think of this, the difference between, a commercial farm with, 80 acres of soybeans versus a truck garden for your backyard. So, but we did try to address that in the draft statute.
But there could, again, it's not just about this project, it's about the overall solar zoning ordinance. There's nothing saying that you couldn't have a piece of property that there was a lease agreement, and that housed 10 acres of solar panels while farming still went on. So there could be some revenue source for the farmer. He still could actively farm the balance of his property. Or in this case, the farmer could sell it and say, I've had enough farming, I want to move out, will you buy my land? So there is advantages to your agricultural community.
At least this land, that for the next 20 or 25 years, won't have a strip mall or a warehouse or any of those other more disruptive activities. You'll know that once the solar farm is there.
Anything else? Doug? Nick? Jim? Well, the next step is going to have to be for our attorney to review the law. I don't think we've actually done anything on it yet, so that's the first step. And then we'll have to go on what he thinks the law should be and bring it back to the town board to see if we can have a public hearing on it. But I don't think we're at that stage right now to have the public hearing since.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I've exchanged some emails with the
Yes.
supervisor and a few other board members. So if you guys need anything from me, Gerard, if you need anything from me, please ask. Any further information, supporting information?
Of course, same for me. Well, thank you for your time.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Is anyone else?
I'd like to just address the town board and the residents here about a much smaller project that was brought up by Jim, actually, inspired by Hannah, and I talked to Doug about it, is these barrels out in front. Doug and I were talking, and as the Princetown Cares Committee, we would like to help design something and do something and solicit donations and bring it to the town board and let the town board see a project that we could have that would make our entranceway look more welcoming and get rid of those barrels. And
You don't like the barrels? Nick, I put them up. Oh, really, Nick?
Jack, I talked to Pete Drago today, he called me on the phone, in the county, he was gonna come up with some suggestions, he said about putting a gate up and everything, I said, you can't put a gate up. So we got a lot of people involved in it, trying to help us figure out something nice there, you know?
So that's what we figured. Everybody was doing a little something. Those reaching out, looking for help, I understand. You know, we're all talking, we all see it, but it's one of them things that we just haven't come together as a group and said, why don't we look at a couple different projects? And it is a public roadway, so I'm sure there's vehicle traffic laws or whatever the town might have to pass, or the county might have to accept, and plowing for the sheriff's department and state police entrance and exit, all those things have to be looked at. So we just want to let you know that Princetown Cares is willing to
As
step
long as if
forward.
everything is on this side of the access road going into the sheriff's department, there's not a problem, we already checked with them. As long as it's on this side of it, they don't want anything on the other side.
Okay, but, you know, there's different projects we can look at, and guidances that we would have to go by, and so I just wanted to let you know that we would like to, you know, work with those, with the county, and make sure that we come up with a much more welcoming entrance for the town of Princetown. I mean, every week you get people coming up here from court, and for these meetings, and for this, and those barrels, you know, thank you, Hannah, those barrels are just atrocious. And we've all mentioned it for a couple of years, but I would like to thank Jim and Hannah for lighting the flame, creating the spark, and getting us going. So if anybody has any suggestions or drawings and
Well, if you work with Nick on it, I don't have any problems with it. Does anybody on the board have any?
No, and in fact, you know, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea either if we could provide some of the funding to do this too. I mean, it's, you know, important, that it really is important. I mean, it's our town hall, it's our town property.
yeah.
You know, we want to,
Well, you know, the businesses in this town and the residents in this town have always stepped up to the plate and accomplished whatever we're trying to do. Even as large as that task that you all worked on, Doug worked on last year, looking at wall in there. That was like way over what anyone expected it was going to be, but it got done because everybody came together and worked together and got it done. And this is a much smaller project than anything, so I don't see there's no reason why we can't. So as long as the town board is willing to let us create something and hand it over to you, and you all look at it and let us know if that's acceptable, then we'll.
sounds great to me.
Sue? Yeah? As long as you can work with Nick on it, we did have a truck come in here. It is keeping the trailers out of here.
Oh, absolutely.
What's up there now.
Yeah.
And one pulled in and backed over and knocked this, you saw that, knocked the sign over, and Nick, I'm gonna thank Nick for taking care of that.
Well, if you notice, there's 3 signs up now. They put one on each side of the road. One says, no trucks, which we didn't have before. Lou suggested that, and I mentioned it to them, and it was a good idea. And then he put the load limit under it, and then they put another sign up near the cul-de-sac. So,
And if we had a sign, maybe he said no outlet.
yeah.
So when the trucks look, they see that they're gonna be pulling tractor and trailer in, and there is no outlet, because when they look up here, it looks like you could probably drive around the block up here from Dwayne Road. And if they know it's a dead end.
Or something
like that,
illuminated.
You know, just
You know.
whatever the combination of things would be, but also something much more welcoming than just.
I thought of putting a sign on those pole, on that one pole, flashing lights on it, because we do have the sign at the end of the driveway. And we could wire that up, and it's on a timer. And I don't know if anybody's noticed the one down by Price Chopper, at their corporate offices. They have a sign up there that says stop, and it lights flashing all the way around it. Something to get the attention of them to not pull in, and that's one of the things I had thought of. I don't know if you'd like to consider that, because it's nothing to put the cost would just be for the sign, and digging the trench and wiring it into the sign that's out there. And it would come on at night and go off in the morning. Like I said, we had a truck pull in there and backed over it, and nobody saw him, so backed over the sign.
Well, at least they're not.
No,
Down the-
no, we don't need them going over the gazebo again.
Gazebo and our, you know, all the work that everybody has put into, you know, weeding and putting the flowers and stuff in last year, like, you know, setting that could go up again. At least they haven't made it up that far to take that down again. So,
Yeah, that's fine, go ahead.
okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anna?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? No? Okay. Privilege of the floor at 7:36. Okay, highway, Nick.
Yeah, well, we did a lot of talking already. Jack already brought up the issue of that. And your idea would be good, would be nothing in the road. Keep it open, looking nice, and have something on the side that would stop it. That'd be beautiful. But the county, he suggested, he said, why don't you put a gate up? And you can't put a gate. Because the troopers gotta go, the people gotta pass through it. Maybe we could, instead of having the opening in the middle, if we did have to put flowers or something, have an opening on the side, on the end, instead of the middle. It wouldn't look so inviting coming up the road. I don't know, like, we'll work on it, Jack, and everybody put their heads together and see what we can come up with and make it nice, more attractive. I agree with you 100%. Okay, the other issue is, I was with the county, and they're gonna do the shoulders on Willow Run that we did last year. They said the road's breaking off, because you gotta have the shoulders where the blacktop doesn't end and drop off. So they're doing that for us, and
They're gonna do that after the paving, correct?
well, that has nothing to do with that road, so it's not important. If they want to do it now, they can, but how the county works, when they're in that area doing something like that, you can't exactly tell them to stop what they're doing and go do what we want, you know, because we got to appreciate what they're doing. And the only other issue was I'm getting complaints about the tunnel on Kelly Station Road. They're saying people are getting in the middle and bumper to bumper, and nobody wants to back up and stuff, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know what we can come up with. I put a mirror up there, but it isn't worth a nickel. Because
Is
of
the
the
traffic jam in Princetown? Jeez, what's next?
The county doesn't want us to put a mirror up. But they always shot it out on us before I got in. And lately, I did put a mirror up, and they didn't like the idea, but they didn't say nothing. But it's in the wrong place. And I can't aim it in the right direction without me putting a pole 15, 20 feet back from the opening and flash it towards that. It's right up against the tunnel, and it's hard to flash it right where it'd be useless, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, I might go there and just try to turn it a little more and change it, but I don't know if that's gonna help in any way. But they don't want me to put a mirror, they want us to put a mirror up there anymore. So, it's got to do with a county road. It's not up to us, but he didn't say anything. The mirror's up there right now, but it's not flashing in the right direction, and it's hard to adjust it. It's so close to the opening of the tunnel. That's all, that's about it. Thank you.
Any questions for Nick? Nick? Water, George?
We're just finishing up reading all the water meters. Bills will be going out next day or two, just rechecking, making sure everything is right, the numbers are right, so somebody's not getting the bill for $204,000. One printer out of the computer this afternoon here, so. But outside of that, everything's fine in the water, and haven't had any, problems, and
No breaks, that's what.
no breaks. Everything's been running good.
Okay. So, George?
Yep.
Any questions for George? Thank you, George. Code enforcement, Tom is in with some people in there. And Ben?
It's been slow. I had one call last Wednesday from a resident on Curry Bush. They had a dog that they never knew never seen in the neighborhood. So they held him. I went and picked her up, and it was like a hound dog mix. So I took her down to the shelter, took her pictures when I was down there. I posted it on our Facebook page, and then on Steve Caparizzo again, posted it there, and sure as 4 or 5 hours later, people looking on there, they knew the owner. So I got a hold, I went and stopped to see the owner about 9 o'clock. He wasn't too pleased that I took his dog. I mean, he didn't yell about it, but you could see he wasn't happy about it, but, I just wanted to let him know that his dog was all right. He was over at the shelter. He lived in Rotterdam, didn't have a license tag or anything on it, so I said, it's nothing, that's none of our business, just that, just want to let you know that you had it, your dog is safe and all that, so he went and picked him up. He spent a night in the Hooskow. So, that was it. Everything's fine now.
Okay, any questions for Ben? Okay, thank you. I don't think we have, the judge is not here, I don't have a report from him, and the assessor's not here, and I don't have a report from him, which I don't imagine we'll be reporting too much on. Buildings and grounds, Nick is going to
Pick up the stone.
pick up the stone over here
Okay.
and remove that whenever he gets a chance. No rush on it.
Probably do it tomorrow.
And the driveway where the water is coming up, that's gonna be taken care of too, correct, Nick?
Yeah.
They marked it,
We're getting more marks.
yeah,
Call them again.
where the lines are going over there, we can correct that and get that patched. Let's see. Nothing at the state police, it's been quiet there, which is good. George had asked me if we were going to reseal the driveway and paint new lines on it, because he'd like to get some done up to the pump station, the pump house. So if the board wants me to, we can get a couple estimates on that and see, reseal the driveway and repaint the lines. It's up to the board.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
Do we need a motion to do it?
No, I can just get the things and then we'll see if we want to do it. Nothing else, like I said, it's state police, everything's quiet. We did get one estimate for this, Doug got an estimate, that lady came in, but I haven't seen it yet, but,
She said it.
yeah, I never got it.
Well, okay.
Okay. We'll do something with our courtroom here.
Right now, I know she's booked. So it'll be probably in the fall.
I do have to get a roofing contractor up here to take a look at this week that we got in here. The wall does get damp. Other than that,
One other thing, on Monday, we did lose our internet connection here, so if somebody was trying to get on the website or whatever, it was out for a few hours, and we were hoping that it wasn't anything serious, like a line coming in, because there was absolutely nothing, no phones, no internet, anything. I was here Monday with Spectrum, and it turned out to be just one little part in our server room, and he was able to repair that. So if you were trying to reach us or get on the website on Monday, we apologize for that lack of internet service, but it didn't get repaired till early in the afternoon.
okay, and thank you for taking care of that too, John. That's all I have. Well, I do have, just to make, Willow Run, they're gonna start repaving the roads on Thursday, I was told. I notified all of the residents, but with the paperwork telling them what roads are gonna be done, and they're gonna be starting, I'm told Thursday, it was gonna be done this week. We're gonna be starting to work on the budget, the September, is it, Sandy?
No,
That's
before that.
August,
Get those
later
sheets.
August, so we'll probably have to have a couple meetings before to go over the budget, other than the town board meeting, so we'll have to schedule some meetings. So be prepared for the board to have to come on probably, I don't know, Tuesday before the meetings or anything, somewhere along that. People have notified me, they wanted to know when they were gonna have the disposal of the flags. I haven't heard anything yet. I notified the assemblymen that the town board agreed to it, to use the town hall for it, but I haven't heard anything back yet. And I'd like, if Jim would like to comment on the EMS and
Yes, there's some flyers there on the table that explain about the upcoming CPR classes that we're going to be offering. The dates are on there, there's a sign-up sheet. We are asking people to please call Town Hall, call Sandy, give them an idea what day you want to sign up. There's 3 dates available there. I don't know if I have a copy of the dates here or not, but they're on there. There's 3 dates going to be available in September. So we're going to have one Saturday and 2 evenings. So that way, hopefully, everybody's schedule will be accommodated. This is going to be professionally done by people from Mohawk Ambulance, EMS people. And you're going to learn not just CPR, you're going to learn airway maneuvers. So if someone's choking, we're encouraging as many people in Princetown to take this as possible. The reason for that is it's very simple. This is really the first step in the EMS process, because God forbid if there's an emergency in a town like Princetown, it takes time for the fire department to come, the ambulance to come, and that critical time is what makes the difference literally between life and death. So if you would like to sign up, and I'm kind of saying this for folks looking at the TV, if you want to sign up, just call Town Hall. Sandy will give you the dates and times. You can choose what's best for you and sign up so that you have it. It's going to be, again, Dr. Pomeroy is coordinating everything and financing everything, so there's no charge to any resident in town. It's free.
and she's going to be notifying everybody by mail, you said? Is that-
Yes, she is actually at her own expense, which is amazing, but at her own expense, she's going to send out postcards so that you will be receiving postcards about this. But hopefully, if anybody's hearing this now and they're interested, call ahead, get the dates, and get signed up with Sandy. It is limited. I mean, we're only having 3 classes. And Mohawk Ambulance is bringing in all their equipment, so we'll have the CPR dummies, and we'll have the choking dummies, and I think they're even doing the defibrillator training, or they're going to talk about the defibrillator. So there'll be a lot of equipment here. It's an opportunity for mothers, fathers, grandparents, babysitters, anybody that wants to learn this skill. It's a great way to do it. We're going to have 3 classes open.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Public hearings. Should have done that. Yeah. All right. Meeting minutes. It is hereby resolved that the meeting minutes of the June 13th, 2017 regular town board meeting are approved or as amended.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Susan already did, sorry, you couldn't hear her.
Pardon?
Susan seconded, you couldn't hear her.
I'm already here.
Okay?
Yeah.
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. General funds claims. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 123/number 141 in the amount of $17,293.80. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll make it.
Okay. Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Water funds claims. Upon the motion, excuse me. It is hereby resolved the town board approves claims number 58/number 66 in the amount of $1,716.09.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilman Gray? Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Actually, it's going to be pretty short. Nothing comes up. Council member comments? Well, what's everybody feel about the solar over here? Would like our attorney to review the law?
I think that's the best place to start. I mean, we should keep an open mind about it and have him give us his assessment.
You know what that's involved in, right?
Yeah, I just need direction from the board, if the board wants, is considering going forward or not.
Do you have a copy of the zoning
I have
recommendation?
their comments.
You have.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not considering going forward, there's no point in reviewing the law. I just want to have some, I don't know if you wanted to wait for Ben to be here to make a decision, or if you're prepared to go for it. If the law gets prepared, the next step would be then, once it's really final form, to call a public hearing. The idea would be, if you're going to do it, you're going to have a public hearing. You're not obligated.
No.
necessarily
But
to do anything.
is there anybody that's dead set against it right at the moment of having a public hearing?
I'm not, no.
I'm not either, really.
I'm not, I'd like to know more about the, commercial versus the resident having one, how the zoning plays into it, so I don't know if that comes up with your research or the zoning boards, or, how that plays into it.
We have an obligation to be fair to all Princetown residents and taxpayers, landowners. So we have landowners, it's our obligation to be fair. And I think it's only right then to pursue at least the next step. I think that would make sense. I don't think that,
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
All right, then I guess if you want to move forward over here, then we just won't wait for Ben. I'm sure that he would probably go along with that, I'm assuming.
You only
At
need
least have a
three.
public hearing on
You only need 3 votes.
I know. So that's the general consensus. Do we need a resolution to do
I
that?
don't think you need a resolution.
Okay. All right. That's that.
I did want to just mention the dates, because I didn't have in front of me there. The dates for the CPR training are Tuesday, September 19th. That's an evening from 7 to 10. Saturday, September 23rd, from 8:30 a.m. till 11:30 p.m. That'll be here, it's going to be in the other room. And Thursday, September 28th, from 7 to 10, for anybody that isn't.
Saturday is till 11:30 p.m.? No.
11:30 a.m., I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, they're gonna be out until.
No, a.m. So, yeah, it's basically a 3-hour course. You might get out of here in 2, and if you really want to learn CPR, but you can't commit to 3 hours, come anyway. If you do an hour and a half, you get the basics under your belt, and when you want to bail out, that's fine. The main thing is get as much as you can. And it's probably not going to be 3 hours. They said to allow that much because they have a lot of hands-on training. So those are the dates. And again, it's on the website, so if you're confused about dates, just go on the website, it's all listed.
Anything else? Doug? Nick? Sue? Jim? Nothing else?
No? I'm good.
Wow. Wow, okay. Well, then I guess
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that motion to adjourn.
okay. Sandy?
7:53. Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Wow. This is very good tonight. Thank you all for coming.